Yeah, friends, welcome to the video. I hope you are doing really good today. And in this video, I'm going to talk about 3 things that you can do to help you recover if you do have DPDR or you're suffering from anxiety. These things might sound kind of simple, but I think that they are really important. So this one is more so for people who have only just sort of gotten into this, or it's for people who have had it for a little while and maybe you haven't actually done this step yet. And that step is to go and see a doctor to get a clean bill of health. And the reason that this is so important is because it's going to do a number of things. First of all, there might be something physically wrong, and then a doctor is going to be able to find that. Doctors are incredibly good at diagnosing and treating, so obviously they're going to be able to help you with that. Also, it's going to give you peace of mind, because I'm guessing that when you do go to see a doctor and get checked, that all the tests that you do, I'm guessing that it's going to come back negative. And you might have already done this and it might have already come back negative, but still you're sort of thinking, oh, maybe it's something wrong, maybe the doctor missed something. Go, and if you need to, go and see another doctor. And what they're going to do is they're essentially going to give you a clean bill of physical health. And this is good because it's a process of elimination, and now they've eliminated everything. So you know pretty much now that it is just anxiety or stress that you're dealing with and the symptoms of that. And what's really important too is that once you've been to a doctor, or even if you've gotten a second opinion, then just sort of check that off, as in like, right, that's done. I've done that now. If your mind starts to go with the racing of what if they miss something, what if I'm going crazy, what if it's brain damage, all these what if questions, you can sort of remind yourself that I've been to the doctor, there's nothing actually here right now. And what's actually happening is that it's the anxiety giving you all those thoughts. It's the anxiety which is giving you the what if they miss something, and what if it's actually more serious, and all this type of stuff. So that is something really important to remember, is that all these racing thoughts that you've got going right now is just the anxiety doing its thing. Okay, so you've done step 1, which is to go see a doctor and get a clean bill of health. The second step is to get to the root cause of the problem. And this is really the bulk of where recovery happens. Because if you don't actually get to the root cause of what's happening, then how do you know what to fix? It's like if you're in a car and you don't know where you're going, are you just going to stop and not move? Are you going to drive around in circles? You're just going to wander around aimlessly, hoping that you somehow get to where you're going. And the way that you can figure out where you need to go in terms of recovery is by getting to the root cause of the problem. And you might be getting a little bit sort of flustered or confused about this, in terms of, you might say, well, look, I'm really, for example, like I'm really afraid that my family isn't real. And so you're constantly going, how can I prove that they're real? How can I justify to myself that they're real? And I'm worried that they're not actually real, and all this type of stuff. If you're trying to fix that problem, that's not the root of the problem. That is the surface level problem. So you've got to go down a few layers to actually get to the root cause, which is manifesting itself as this thought of, what if my family isn't real? The way that you can do that, and the way that I do that in my coaching when I'm helping people get down to their root causes, is basically to ask a lot of powerful questions that maybe you've never been asked before. So really, for you, if you're not sort of trained in coaching, or you don't really know what to ask, you can just get curious about it. And the question that you can ask is, how is that a problem for me? So for example, if somebody said to me, oh, I'm really afraid that my family isn't real, I'd be like, so why would it be a problem if your family isn't real? And it's like, oh, well, if they're not real, then does it mean I'm actually spending all this money on them and they're not there? And, I'm not going to be able to be there to protect them. It's like, okay, well, why would it be a problem that you're not able to protect them? And it's like, well, if I can't protect them, then maybe they'll get hurt, or they're injured, or they'll get lost, or maybe they'll just vanish, or maybe they'll leave me. Oh, okay, so why would it be a problem if they left you? Oh, well, if they leave me, then I'm going to be alone, and I really don't want to be alone. I'm terrified of being alone. I hate being alone. It fills me with anxiety and dread about being alone. And that's the root cause of what is happening in this example. So you can see that the root cause is being alone, afraid of being alone, but that's actually manifesting itself as, oh, what if my family isn't real? So you sort of see that if you go and try and fix the problem of trying to prove that your family is real, however you do that, you're not actually fixing the real issue here. And until you set your compass and you get direction and you know specifically and exactly what it is that you need to do in terms of what direction to head in, then you're probably going to be fixing the symptoms which you're just not going to be able to fix because they're not actually the real problem. And so if you can get down to the root cause, and in that example, for example, of being alone, then you address the issues of being alone. And then once you start to figure out that and talk about it and realize that, well, actually you're not alone, and maybe you emotionally feel alone because you're going through this by yourself and you feel that people don't understand you, and whatever it is for you, that once you start to address this, then you are going to start seeing results in terms of the questions of how do I prove my family's real and all this type of stuff. They're not going to be there anymore because you would have addressed the issue of whatever is going on for you right now about being alone. And point number 3 is sort of leads on from point number 2 a little bit, which is to get help with this, because you're you. And you're so close to you that it's really quite difficult sometimes to be able to step back. And often the phrase that people might say when it comes to therapy is, a therapist will hold up a mirror to you. So you'll say something to a therapist and you'll just be talking and talking and talking, but a therapist is an active listener. So they'll be able to pick out the little bits of detail which are important, and they'll reflect that back to you, and you might not have even realized that you've said that. And so, for example, why this is important is because if you don't realize, it's again that you don't have the compass, like you don't actually know. And this is what I mean about you're too close to you to actually know what is really going on here. And it might take somebody who doesn't really know you to be able to actively listen and objectively sort of say, hey, I noticed that you said this, or you're saying this a lot of time, or what do you mean by this? And as a sort of practical example of this, I sometimes get clients that will say to me, Dan, like, oh, I just really wish that I could get better. I just really want to get better, and I should be able to get better, and I should be able to have this happy life. And, at this point in my life, I should be here, and, I really want to be able to achieve this stuff, and I feel that I'm losing my stuff, and I'm just too weak, and I should be able to do this. And I'll in that example, I might point out to them, you know what, when you were talking to me just then, what I noticed is that you said I should a lot. You said I should do this, I should do that, I should be able to do this, and I should be able to do that. And then I might sort of reflect back to them and say something like, given where you are right now, with sort of how you're feeling, do you think, or how do you think saying to yourself, I should, again and again and again, is actually affecting you? And so that, it might be like, oh yeah, well, I'm putting too much pressure on myself, or I'm having unrealistic expectations. And, and look, we just sort of lift all the stuff that's coming off, to sort of just make it all so much more manageable and bearable. And it's like it's a big mess right now, and we've got to start to get everything out and lay it all out and just see what's actually happening. And then the thing is that if you are doing this by yourself, that can be difficult. Now, I'm not saying that you can't recover by yourself. By all means, lots of people recover by themselves. Sometimes with those people, because they didn't actually know what they did to recover, then sometimes the DPDR will come back because they didn't actually do anything to get out of it. They just sort of lived life, and it just went, and then something happened again, and then it came back. But if you sort of actively practice and get all the tools in your toolkit to be able to get out of this, then you're not going to have a relapse. You're going to recover, and then you're going to be recovered forever. And whenever a glimpse of anxiety comes back to you, you're just going to be able to smash it away and say, no, I'm not having any of this. Or you're going to be able to say, hey, okay, cool, I'm feeling a little bit anxious right now. That's totally fine. It's totally normal. Anxiety is a part of life, and I'm just going to get on with life. So it's kind of like mending your relationship with anxiety. So getting help can really speed up the process, and it can also really give you the knowledge and the insight and the awareness and the tools to be able to make sure that this never comes back. And whether that's with me, or whether that's with a counselor, or with a therapist, or whoever it is, I really encourage you to reach out to somebody and say, hey, can we talk about this? Like, I'm going through this thing. I need some help to figure out what's going on in my brain, why I can't sort of get over this, or I've hit a roadblock, or I'm not getting enough, I'm not going quick enough. That is something really admirable to do, and that's something that actually shows a lot of strength in you, and it's actually really positive because it shows that you're taking action. You're being accountable for what's happening right now. You're being responsible for your life. And these are all really good things. And then the reason that they're good things is because they're proactive. And proactive builds self-confidence, and it builds self-esteem, and it gives you knowledge, and it gives you awareness about you, so you can actually recover from this. So if you are the type of person which is just sitting there now going, I wish I could get better, I wish that this could go, I get that. Everybody wishes that at the beginning, but you've got to get beyond the I wish, because that's just saying, oh, universe, just, or whatever it is, just make it better. I don't want to have to do anything. I don't know what to do, even if I want to do something, but I don't know what to do. I just wish I was better. And I did that myself as well. Like, everybody goes through this, but it's until you actually step up in a way. I said, right, I'm responsible for getting out of this. I might have gotten into it by not realizing it, but it's my job now to get out of this, and it's my journey to get out of this. So that's what I would encourage you to do. Change it from I wish to how can I, or I wonder how, and that's really gonna shift your mindset, and that's really gonna help. So my friends, those three things are things that you can do. And look, if you do want to talk to me or get help from me to help you with your journey, or even to begin your journey of recovery, then please get in touch. I'd love to chat with you. There's a link down below in a pinned comment, and also in the description, for a free discovery call. So, book a discovery call. Let's have a chat. Let's see what's going on with you, and let's see how I can help you recover. And until next time, my friends, you all have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.